Well, we're standing outside the Gabba nets at the end of day and night one of the second Ashes Test. England 9 for 325. That's not declared, not all out. They're still batting, Crash. They're still batting after a day's cricket. What an incredible turnaround, I suppose, when you consider that they were bowled out twice within this space in Perth. And the match is very interestingly poised.
It is, and one thing we've got to say categorically, Dan, this is England's chance and their moment. Next test, Pat Cummins will come back. Probably Nathan Lyon will definitely come back. Hazelwood not far. An attack of Standing Stark, Neser, Doggett and Boland. Let's be honest, it is not one of the great Australian attacks compared to what's been going around in recent times. If England don't win this test, well, you know, they're done.
No, you're right. You rarely, if ever, get a better chance. I mean, we thought that was going to be the case in Perth. And then I suppose on paper the attack looks worse because it doesn't have Nathan Lyon. Now, I understand why they went the way they went. In fact, let's just circle back and talk about the main talking point. Nathan Lyon, the decision to leave him out for Michael Neser. They were very close to recalling Pat Cummins. He would have had to be on bowling loads, but they were still tossing it up as late as Wednesday evening, which was confirmed today by selection chair George Bailey. So, you know, that was very much on the mark. But the call to leave out Nathan Lyon. Now, we're talking shooting a moving target here, Crash, but one day in, do you like it or not?
No, I don't. And I had said in previous videos I could understand why they would part with him in this test, but not when I saw the wicket at the start of play. When I walked in here at 9:30 this morning, I rang one of my colleagues and said, Lyon will play. It's just, the wicket's 30% drier than it was yesterday. It just, like, the sun was beating down. He couldn't not play. Like, I couldn't, never mind leaving him out for Mike Neser, who, you know, fine bowler, but it just, the state of the pitch dictated that he should have played. And you've got to be careful with a senior player when you drop him. He's come out and said he's absolutely filthy. He's a sensitive guy, Nathan. He always has been. Mitchell Stark said, he's played, at one point he said he's played 70 tests, including 70 debut tests. So everything was sort of like really nerve-wracking for the kid. So he will take this very much to heart.
No, for sure. I mean, it was in Jamaica when they let him out not the first time, because he was let out the first time more than a decade ago, but for the first time in more than a decade. And at that stage, the selector on duty, Tony Dodder, went on the record and said, this is a one-off. This was exceptional circumstances. The sun goes down earlier in Jamaica. It's the pink Duke's ball, which Mitchell Stark told you you'll never be seen ever again. You know, this is rarity. And yet, it's happened twice in the space of 3 tests. This is not going to, this is history repeated. He's 38 now. He's going to be looking over his shoulder for the rest of his career. Now, even though they've guaranteed that he's going to play the next test, what this does to his confidence remains to be seen. And as you said, had they let him out for Cummins, Hazelwood, Stark and Boland, which they did in Jamaica, okay, you can sort of see that. But with the greatest of respect to Brandon Doggett and Michael Neser, Cummins and Hazelwood, they are not. So really interested to see where this goes. There were very strong comments, as he touched on, Crash, that Lyon made on Channel 7. Look, the other key talking point, though, of the day, and this was a feel-good story, I must say, because I know it's been fashionable to sink the teeth into this guy and the fact that he hasn't made the ton in Australian soil. But Joe Root finally got there, and it was a brilliant innings, Crash.
And the cherry for a lot of supporters, he's one of the most likeable guys in cricket. Yeah. He has no enemies, Joe Root. Suitably humble, got in the dressing room tonight and wasn't on about himself. But yeah, in 15 tests, he'd never scored a century in Australia. Finally, the moment came. But what happened after it really interested me. You almost got this feeling that a monkey had been shed off his back, and the next 20-odd balls, he was a free man. He batted beautifully. There was a ramp shot over the top. There was beautiful drives. And it was as if so Australia beware. Joe Root is a free man.
And it paved the way for him and Jofra Archer to put on an unbeaten 60. And that was a proper sort of Bazball freewheeling, really entertaining moment. And there was this interesting juncture late in the day because David Warner was going he was just egging them on. He was trying to bait them from the commentary box into declaring. As they did, of course, infamously at Edgbaston in the first test of the 2023 Ashes. and they lost that test narrowly, and the question was, should they have done so? Well, they decided against it. They ended up getting 60 extra runs. Zach Crawley said it was a good result either way, because either they'd been bowled out and they would have had a chance to get Australia under lights, or they get an extra 60 runs, which could be invaluable here. The other point about Joe Root I want to make, he is now up to 40 test centuries. He's behind only 3 people. On the top is Sachin Tendulkar, 51 test tons. Got some bad news, Indian cricket fans. Joe Root is only 34, turns 35 shortly. England play a hell of a lot of test cricket. Joe Root looks pretty good, looks very fit. He's coming for you, Sachin. He's going to get there, I reckon.
Yes, I agree. I think he'll beat Sachin Tendulkar. And I know it's a big statement, and you alerted me to that, but I did the maths as well. I'm sorry, Sachin, but with Joe being a young 34 too, like I was watching him in the nets just here, you know, he moves well, he thinks well, he's sharp. He's got 3 or 4 years left for sure. And, up past Sachin.
Just a couple of quirky moments today. What did you make of the Josh Inglis run out of Ben Stokes?
What an incredible thing for a wicketkeeper to be. He will, as a wicketkeeper, you always watched extra closely in the field. People say, he's no good without the gloves. But it was such an amazingly strong return from side on. I would say, if Inglis walked past here now, he'd say, that was the highlight of my whole career. Seriously.
The quirky point, actually, is that Josh Inglis, in the Champions Trophy earlier this year, when he was the wicketkeeper for Australia, and Alex Carey was playing as a specialist batter, and Carey took that great catch in the outfield. And now the shoe's on the other foot. Carey's the keeper, Inglis is the fielder, and he's done it in the field. So I don't know, they're very versatile cricketers these days. Crash, why not make some big predictions? Are England going to win this match? They've got a chance. They're a really big chance.
I really think they will. They will go hard, but one word of warning. This wicket is deceptively flat, and I think if I was an Australian batsman tomorrow, I'd be thinking 3 words: big, big, big.
Do you reckon someone might have just had a little bit of a whisper in the ear of the head curator here, David Sandusky, just saying, look, it probably wouldn't have been a bad result if we got more than 2 or 3 days of cricket?
You just never know, do you? But I've got to say it, I think it's the wicket the series needs.
Yeah.
This will go into 4 days, and it will be a result because England don't play draws. So I just don't think the series needed another England all-out 160, Australia 180.
No, not that we got that much cricket today. We only got 74 overs, that's a whole other story. Overrates, and it's a bit of a dry topic, but Australia do run the risk of some penalties in the World Test Championship final standings if things move along. But anyway, looking forward to it all tomorrow. Thank you again, Crash, and see you then.
Can't wait.